4, 3, 2, 1. Office Exchange Podcast. I have my really great friend, Jason Sutton, here.
Let's go. What's up, guys?
And I emphasize the really great just to explain our friendship, because I say everybody on the podcast is my good friend, because majority of the people that I've had on, I mean, every single person has been a friend of mine. But Jason is, like, different.
Yeah, we've been friends for a while now. I mean, freshman year of high school, been friends.
Yeah, freshman year of high school, and then in college, we're both in our third year. We're going to be seniors soon. So, like,
Which is good.
Which is
Because
crazy on its own, yeah.
A lot of people after high school, a lot of friends, like, drift apart and whatnot. So, I mean, I think we're pretty lucky that we were able to stay together.
Is it luck, though?
I think it's just, like, meant to be, you know? Like, we're meant to be friends and whatnot, so we're going to come together no matter what. You know?
Yeah. And another thing is, like, we go to different colleges.
Yes.
We have different friends. Like, we have other friend groups. He's part of clubs at his college. I'm part of clubs at mine. He's involved on campus, goes to, like, basketball games and whatnot. I'm involved on campus. I do the same exact thing. So it's not like we're just in our same circle where we go to college, come home, or go to college, come home, and then hang out with each other. It's like we really don't see each other that often.
Not like every day, you know?
Yeah. Even during semester, it's like
it's hard, you know?
Literally, we don't even barely see each other. But that's also, like, something that I think should be discussed, right? The importance or the struggle that is a friendship. Because a lot of people don't want to fight for their friendships, if that makes sense. Now, I'm not, saying go and be friends with somebody who's not making the effort to, but...
I mean, you had made a good point earlier. Friendship is like a relationship, you have to... It's a two-way street, A one-way relationship, everybody knows, is no good, But, like, you both put in work, it's a nice friendship. So, I mean... And I think, like, our same interest, but in, like, different schools and whatnot, sort of bring us together, because, like, then we have a story to tell each other,
Yeah.
Which is good.
I think it's important. Well, I know it's important to have similar interests in different ways, and it's funny that you say, like, similar interests in different ways, because I think we do as well. Right? Like, I have passions, which is what I'm doing right now, and so do you. Right? So it's like you like to play instruments. I don't really know how to play an instrument. I'm gonna try and learn. I want to learn, but that's not like my passion, right? This is more like a hobby and a passion of mine. Then you have yours, and then when you kind of bring it together, it makes like a nice story, because we can align them and agree on things like, yo, this was hard doing this, and you're like, yo, this was hard doing that, what I was doing, and then I can talk about how the clubs at my college are frustrating sometimes, and you could talk about your things with yours, So it's like, although we, aren't together all the time, there are things that keep our friendship together.
Yeah, exactly. Like, 'cause like, you don't see someone, like, say you have a best friend, you haven't seen them in a while, like, if they're truly, like, your best friend, like, when you guys do link up, it's like nothing has ever changed. It's not awkward because you didn't see him for a while. It's just like any old hangout,
Yeah.
That's how it was last night. I went out with my friend Ryan, who I hadn't seen in a long time, almost like a year and a half. And he was like my best friend growing up. But like, I saw him last night, and it was like what I said, You see them, and it's not awkward or anything, because you guys know you have that bond that you guys are best friends, So it's nice having friends like that,
Yeah, so I agree. But let's kind of talk about how hard it is to have a friendship, in the sense of, like, I feel like people forget that you have to work towards the friendship. So it's not just like, like, there's times where it's like, it's nice to just meet up with somebody for the first time in a long time, and it's like nothing's changed. But it's not that easy, right? Like, shooting someone a text and being like, yo, how you doing? To me, that shows effort, right? It shows, like, you want to be friends with me, like, you want to know what I'm doing, how I'm doing, things like that. And sometimes I just feel like that's forgotten, right? So
for sure. I mean, you can't just have, like, this, like, sense of security behind someone, like, oh, like, he's always gonna be there or whatnot, like, he'll always be my friend no matter what. Like, no, you have to put in an effort to show them that you still want to be their friend, and, like, like you said, shoot him a text, hey, what's up, how you doing, you alright today, simple stuff like that. It just shows the other person that you care, and I think that's what makes, like, a friend opposed to, like, a best friend, a best friend will reach out to you all the time and whatnot. So that's what I think.
And I was going to say, one thing that is hard to do with friendships, which is similar to relationships, is experiencing that person that you really care about doing other things that's not with you. Right? It's like FOMO, which is a fear of missing out, which I sometimes feel like that, but it's like you have to have, from my experience, to have a really good friendship and relationship, you have to let that person go and grow, right? And like, it's so easy for me to be like, which I've seen this before. Oh, he's hanging out with all them. He doesn't mess with me no more. So that's not my man's anymore. Like I could say, oh, it's St. John's friend, so I'm not cool with him no more. But that's like a very selfish way of looking at a friendship. Yeah. Now, of course, if the person's not making an effort to be in your life, that's a completely different story. But if you see them growing and expanding and doing new things, try not to look at it like, wow, they're doing it without me. More just like kind of look at it like, wow, he's doing things.
I'm happy for him,
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't smother someone. You have to let them go out and, like, not everything you do is going to be together, right? Because one, that just gets repetitive and boring. And it's interesting to go out and try different things, apart from each other. So then, like I said earlier, when you do come back to each other, you got more to talk about and whatnot. Just more to reflect on.
For sure. I agree. So, I guess the main tip that we have is just, make the effort to be friends with that person.
Keep reaching out to, like, if you have, like, a friend, like haven't reached out to in a while, and, like, reach out to them, let them know you still care. Yeah,
that's another thing. Don't be afraid to, like, rekindle friendships as well, because like Jay said, he hasn't seen his friend Ryan in a year and a half. They meet up, and it's just, like, perfectly the same. Exactly. Now, I'm not saying every single time it's going to be that easy, but don't be discouraged to, like, hit somebody up that you miss and be like, yo, like, what you been up to? And this goes for friendships, not only relationships, not boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever romantic thing you have. This is friendships. They're like a relationship. That's just how I kind of look at it.
Because you have to remember, you guys were once friends, so it's not like you hit this person up, like, it's going to be like, oh, this is weird. You guys were once good friends, so set them up. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And, the things that kind of bring you together is, like, the stuff that you've been through in the past. So with me, for example, like, thinking about Jay and the amount of times I sat in his basement and just, like, been upset, been mad, been happy, like, all these emotions, like, those things come back. I haven't sit in his basement in years, but it's like these memories kind of bring you together, right? And it kind of gives you a sense of, like, a bond,
For sure.
And if you do feel discouraged by approaching that person that you may miss or that friendship you want to rekindle, I think a good approach is using what you've been through with them. Like, if I hit Jay, I'd be like, yo, I miss the days we was in your basement.
Remember this, or remember when we used to do that?
Yeah.
That's a good conversation starter. That will, spark their interest as well, and that's how conversations get going.
But don't do it in I feel like I'm just like a life coach right now for friendships. But, like, try not to do it in a way where it's like, oh, remember when we did this, and now you're doing that?
No, yeah. Don't do it in like a petty way. No one likes that. But
it's just like, do it in, your own way.
Yeah.
But there's that. I figured we'd start with that just because we're going to talk about a couple of things that you've been through and what you're going to go through, and it's important to, like, see how we've grown, like, our where we are in our lives and stuff. And it's funny because what you study isn't necessarily that similar to what I studied. What I started studying was very similar to what you started studying. But what I'm studying now is, like, kind of different. So it's like you find commonalities. Is that a word?
Yeah, you find, like, common ground.
But is commonalities a word? Did I just make that up? That should be a word. Commonalities? I'm going to put that in a dictionary.
To be honest, I don't know, but we'll have to look at it.
All right, well, I'm going to use it. Yeah. But you find those commonalities in certain things, and you, like, building it, growing in. I don't know.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's just nice to still be friends with somebody that you've been friends with for a long time and seeing how they grow.
And how, like, you see how someone grows, like, as a person.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this man has grown a lot as, like, a person. So it's nice to see,
What's up, man? You don't like High School Anthony?
No.
Well, I can't punch somebody in the face for getting a haircut?
No, High School Anthony was fun. Let me just say I was happy I was on High School Anthony's good side.
No, I don't condone violence, though. Seriously, I that's another conversation to be had. But I do think a majority of issues can be solved with the conversation. I always said, never underestimate the power of a conversation. So, violence isn't necessarily always the answer. Although, I say this, and I believe in it, sometimes you have to get punched in the face. Like, maybe not literally, but sometimes getting physically hurt will teach you more than a conversation will. Although I do think conversations are very powerful and underestimated as a whole by society, but that's near.
It's nothing like a good sock in the face to get you to realize something.
Sometimes you just have to, Like, my mom still smacks me in the back of the head on occasion.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, but it's all love. It's all love. So, Africa.
Yeah. Crazy.
We talked about it in private, and I just want you to talk about your experience as a whole, because I think that it was humbling to hear, and I think it was dope for you to go through that.
Well, humbling is probably the word I would use to describe it the most, because you go over to a country like that where they don't have anything, bro. Like, running water is like a scarcity around there. Like, and like if you have it, then like you're like top dog. If you got running water in your house.
That's crazy to think about, dude.
Because, bro, like when I went to the village, and you go to these houses, and no one in the village has running water right now. Like, if you want to get water, you have to go walk like a mile down to the water pump it out yourself. If you want to take a shower, you have to boil a bucket of hot water and pour it over yourself. Like, but what was crazy is they're so happy with that, like, because that's all they know. They don't know like us, where we could take a shower for an hour long and like nothing will happen. But like, they don't know any of that. Like, they don't know like light bulbs. They don't know bathtub, showers, anything, bro. It's just like they're so happy with what little they have, which is honestly a blessing, because to be able to be so happy with such little amounts is awesome, And because when I stayed in the village, I stayed there for like 2 nights. And, you go into the bathroom in a hole that they dig out in the field or whatnot, which is fine, I mean, it's just a whole different life. Everything is cooked over a fire, There's no stoves or ovens or nothing, no microwaves.
So, I don't mean to cut you off, but let's kind of add a timeline to it, since we're not like going all over the place. So, why did you go to Africa? Let's start there.
Well, alright, so my brother is in the Peace Corps in Zambia, and that's where he's stationed. So, at that time, he'd been there for like a year and like 9 months, and we figured it's time to go see him. I haven't seen him in a while, and Africa would be an awesome family trip. So we all just packed up and went down there for like 11 days.
Okay, and you, so tell us, like, how did you get around? So you went to one part of Africa.
So
well, actually, hold on, tell us the story about the getting there. You had to like,
all right. So
the travel there on the plane, like how long it was and everything.
Travel, so there's no like, the only direct flight to Africa is to South Africa, but we went the route where we took a flight to Dubai, which was like 12 hours, and like another 7-hour flight from Dubai to Zambia, which I've never been on a plane for so many hours in my entire life. It was terrible. And like it's like a Middle Eastern airline and whatnot, so the only food that they serve is like curry stuff. So, which is fine. I like curry, but like after the whole plane ride, like the curry smell, it gets to you after a while. So like 21-hour flight there. It ended up being like 24 hours of traveling because we had like a little bit of a layover. So we get there, and we get picked up by like this like almost like a church van. That's meant for like 8 people. Now we're like 16. Okay, so we had to like shove 16.
You went with 16 people?
Yeah, there were 16 of us.
Wow, that's a lot.
So we had to shove 16 of us in this little van. So we're all sitting on top of each other. There's like a chicken sitting like right next to you.
No way.
Bro, it was crazy.
Chicken?
Yeah, bro. The chicken's like transport places on it. It's weird.
That's hilarious. That's so cool.
Yeah. But then like the first place we went to was really nice. It was like a safari lodge and whatnot. It was really nice. It was like right on like the water and whatnot. It was awesome. And then we stayed at 2 safari lodges. The second safari lodge was really nice as well. The second one was kind of crazy because they had like animals walking around the camp. Like there was like a cheetah walking around in the middle of the night. I was like, oh my god. And
what is it, like it's trained? Is there just
no? It's just like, bro, the safari lodge is in like a national park, and animals just
So if
come.
you go outside, you get eaten by a cheetah.
You could possibly get eaten by a cheetah, yeah. But you're not allowed to go outside, like at night. Like after 12, you can't go outside. So but the 2 safari lounges were awesome. You would go out every morning, 6 a.m. They they come to your door, knock on your door. You want tea or coffee? They pour it for you. 6 a.m. It's a little early for most people, but for them it's like whatever. And then at 7 o'clock you go out on your safari ride because most of the animals are like waking up, so they're kind of active, you know. And then you come back and then you go out again when like sundown because that's when animals get active again. So those are the 2 times they take you out. And yeah, but travel there is interesting because Zambian time is like behind. Like if you say, yeah, I need like a bus here at 12, it comes like 3 o'clock because they just have no sense of like urgency there at all.
Or is it no sense of urgency, or they just like physically can't because they don't have enough, manpower or whatever you want to call it. Human power.
They could tell time, like they have like clocks there.
No, I'm not saying they're not intelligent enough to grasp the concept of time. What I'm saying is do they have enough cars to get there at 12 o'clock while helping other people that wanted to go here and there? Is what I'm saying. You know how we have a mass production of everything in America, so everything's at the touch. We have mass production of Ubers, bro. Like there are so many Ubers that it's just like, or I shouldn't say Uber, that doesn't make sense. But you know what I'm saying, like mass production of cars. Like we have everything and the masses. So what I'm saying is in Africa, it's not that they can't grasp a sense of time or they're not punctual. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't have what we have to where it can come when we need it to.
Which very much could be the answer, you know. I mean, but like my brother would even say to this day, it's like if he will schedule a meeting in his village at like 2 o'clock, people like won't show up until like 5, or like some people won't even come like until the next day. It's like I just don't think they have that sense of like I gotta be here on time or else I'm gonna or there's gonna be some kind of consequence, you know. It's just like if I get there on time, whatever. If I don't, whatever, you know. I think that's like more the reason.
It's just their culture.
Yeah,
like how
it's just very laid back and whatnot. So, like, if you wanted to travel, you kind of had to work around that or whatnot. And, like, a lot of the buses, they'll break down on you. Like, this one bus, we had a pretty long drive, like a 4-hour drive, and it broke down on us, like, a good 3 times. And at one point, we all had to get out and start pushing just to, like, get it back up and then run inside the bus. Like, try and get back in the bus. It was pretty funny.
Oh, I'm laughing, but that's not even funny. The fact that they have to go through that is horrible.
It's good because my brother says most people who operate a motor vehicle will know how to fix it because of the amount of times it will break down on them. So I figured that's kind of good, reassuring, I guess.
Isn't it crazy that like the way things differentiate between countries is like they learn from having to struggle, and we learn from sitting in the classroom. So it's like mechanics, they're like, oh, this is the part of the car, and like maybe they'll do, or like they'll like have like a diagram of a car, and like you learn from a textbook, or somewhat hands-on, but not hands-on to the point where you have to because you rely on getting somewhere.
Exactly.
Like they're literally teaching themselves because they have to.
That's
and
what
it's
they
like
need to live.
And it's funny because a lot of people, they'll look at like third world countries and they'll be like, oh, those people aren't intelligent, or I don't subscribe to saying like smart or stupid, like just me personally, for other reasons, but they'll be like, oh, they're not intelligent or they're not educated like we are here, and then it's like, well, they are.
Let me
right?
tell you something.
They just in different ways.
Yeah, if I'm getting like stranded in the woods with someone, it's gonna be someone from like Zambia. It's not gonna be someone from here.
Yeah.
Someone like who's been out there in the struggle could like make fire out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like make food out of anything. It's gonna be someone from over there. You know.
Yeah, dude.
They're so resourceful. You know. Like they use whatever they can because they're so limited. You know.
I just feel like it's so wrong to just think of them when we're talking about them like they're not humans, but to think of these people as if they're not equal to us because they don't have what we have at the tip of our hands.
It's definitely wrong.
You know, it's like it's just I just can't fathom it. It's like they just live a different culture, but since they live a different culture, it's not right that they live the way they do. Which is, I'm not saying I think like that, but there are people who literally think like this. Like, it's just a third world country. They don't, they don't drive cars all day, and they don't have big businesses that thrive and produce stuff for everyone around the world. Therefore, they're not equal to us.
That's totally flawed thinking right there.
That's not what I mean. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't for these people, and although they may not directly affect your life, doesn't mean that they're not affecting others in their community. So it's like, who are we to say, like, look down on these people in these places in these countries? It's just like
very naive of us.
It's just a crazy thing to think that people think the way they do, and.
But I would suggest, like, anybody who would think that, like, go see it for yourself. Like, go see what they live through, and go see how they handle it, and then it will definitely change your mind for sure.
Yeah.
So it changed my whole perspective.
Yeah. So let's get back on track, because we went on a little side note. You're on the bus.
Oh yeah. Just like transportation, like a lot of buses would break down, and you gotta wait a while for them to repair it or whatnot. And it's crazy because say a 2-hour drive, like how many miles it would take to drive 2 hours here would take them like 6 hours there, just because they don't have any like straight like highways that like run through run through the country and whatnot. They'd like have to veer off into a town, like dirt roads or whatnot. So commuting also takes a lot longer over there. But I was also on like a lot of those small planes, which is very nerve-wracking. Very.
Talk about it.
It's just these planes are so tight and small. Like,
wait, what is it? It's like the
those like propeller planes, with like the propellers on the side, and some would fit like 20 people, but some would only fit like 12.
Oh, okay, I see. So they're like longer, but like
yeah, and it's just like because like you feel like every kind of turbulence or whatnot, and you're like shaking up in the air. Landing is terrible. But listen, I mean,
hold on. You know how? Listen, I have a different take on it. I just thought about it.
What?
They don't use like gas, right?
No, they have gas stations. Yeah.
No, for the planes though.
Yeah, they use gas.
Okay, they use gas, but I'm sure it's not as much gas or toxins as planes here take, right? Because of the amount of people that planes here fit and whatnot.
No.
So
not even close.
What if a different way of thinking about because I think majority of people who've not experienced it and don't understand is like, oh my God, they don't know how to, have a plane and whatever. What if, low key, they're more environmentally friendly?
Just doing it right.
Which is why they're doing it the way they're doing it, because I'm sure there's not as many fumes and toxins going into the earth from their planes that there are for ours, Russia's, China's, everyone, all these other planes that go all over the place. It's like, what if we think about it differently? What if it's not that they don't know or they don't have the resources, which they probably do not have the resources. It's not like completely disregard that and not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But what if it's just that they're just environmentally friendly and they understand, they respect Earth more because of how they live?
That's definitely an interesting way of thinking about it. I mean, I've never thought about it that way. It's true though. I mean, these planes are half the size, if less than these big planes we have here. So they're definitely emitting a lot less gases or whatnot. So it's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah,
never thought about it that way.
Okay. Anyway, go on. So you're on this plane, turbulence.
You're shaking everywhere. You're about to throw up. They don't give you like any kind of. You get like a little water bottle. That's about it. There's no like. It's just like you on this plane. There's no like entertainment or nothing. It's just like a window and that's about it. But it's. I've always seen those kind of planes in like movies or whatnot, and I've always wanted to like go on one. So I kind of crossed that off of my list because I took about 11 while I was down there. Because if you want to travel fast, that's like the fastest way to travel down there. Is like those little planes. Like you'll turn like a 8-hour car ride into like an hour plane ride, which is awesome. And especially when you're spending 8 hours in a bus with like a chicken right next to you with like
what's up, man? You don't like chickens?
With like 2 Zambian children on top of you. It's like,
you don't like chickens?
No, I like chickens, but Sometimes they're
not right next to you on a
8
bus.
hours, you know, right next to you.
All right, so boom, you're on this plane. You get to where? Brian, right?
I
Brian's
get
your
to
brother.
like the village, and
Talk about that, because I think that was, from what I understand, the most humbling out of everything is being there.
It was awesome. We rolled up to the village, and these guys like had like a celebration for us. Like we got out of the car, they were like screaming and whatnot. They're, like so happy for us to be there, because that is like the largest amount of white people they've ever had in their village ever, and they were just like all so excited to see us and whatnot.
Are they? That's interesting. So are they cheering because you're white, or just because there's company coming, or what do you think?
It's gonna be both. It's gonna be both.
Why do they cheer because you're white? Do you know?
Well, like for one example, when I was down there, they just kept calling me fat. But in like
hindsight, in comparison to here,
yeah, in like
fat.
In like a good way, because like, hey, like you're from America, you know, you eat good, you know, you're healthy, whatnot, you know, you're nice and fat. Like, so I was like, oh, thanks. Not really, but I guess I appreciate it. And yeah, they've never had American visitors before, besides Brian, obviously, but he's like one of them now. So yeah, we got there, they were cheering for us, they were giving us gifts and whatnot, like literally like they gave us a chicken as like a welcoming gift. Like, here's a chicken. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but thank you.
Did you name it?
No, we actually ate it. But I'm sorry.
It was supposed to be your friend, and you ate him. Are you gonna eat me too?
That's how they live there, bro. They freaking kill chickens like right in front of you. They'll just cut the head off like, right in front of you. Bro,
isn't it? Well, I'm just gonna backtrack because I'm like, isn't that crazy that these people are cheering because of the color of your skin?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I feel like hearing that and not thinking anything about it is like mind-blowing to me. Because when I hear that, I just think of like what they think of themselves.
Yeah.
So that you think, and I know it's like hard to kind of grasp, but if they're cheering for you, then that automatically says that they think you're superior to them. So what does that say about how they feel about themselves as a whole? And that's like sad to think about, because I'm sure they don't do it to themselves. They're not sitting there like, we suck. It's just like we've been taught as people that the skin of your color equals being better. So, you know, like class-wise, economically-wise, you know, in history-wise. And it's just like sad to think like, why is that the answer?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, a white guy, I'm happy now. And to some people it's like maybe flattering, I guess. Like, oh, I'm white, so they're like happy that I'm here. But to me it's just like, damn it.
I'm not all that, you know.
You know, it's like we're one, you know, it's hard. And I know we're one isn't necessarily always true, because people are looked at differently by society and governments and issues that went on. But what I mean by we're one is like we're still all human, you know.
Yeah,
and it's like just sad to think.
It's definitely sad to think.
And I don't mean to like bring a negative annotation to your experience or whatever.
No, I mean when I got there and I saw them like cheering and whatnot, I didn't really think of that. I was like, wow, these people are like really nice, just like really nice, welcoming people. But you put it like that, and it is sad, you know, because they probably are raised to think like these people have more than you, and you know
they're better than you,
are doing better
like
than you, but which is sad because you put one of us in their world, and we're not gonna last a day. We're not gonna last a freaking day.
Exactly, bro. And I don't know.
So
I mean, I don't know. All right, so go ahead, go on. That's a side note.
Yeah, so we got to the village, you know, everyone's cheering and whatnot, and they cook us like a really big dinner, like a traditional Zambian food, like really fresh chicken, like literally just killed right in front of you, which makes it kind of hard to eat, but it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
The food over there is cooked with a lot of oil, so everything is very like greasy or whatnot, and you really got to get used to the food there. It's like you first eat it and it really messes with your stomach. Like I remember my dad got sick like 3 or 4 times. And then just like
hard.
sleeping there in like a hut was kind of humbling too, because you don't have they don't have like a nice bed to like nice comfy bed to go into every night. Like I slept on a hammock, which people could take naps on a hammock all they want, but they're not made for like sleeping at night.
Yep.
So that was humbling too. And like my brother had a snake problem previous to like
I heard about this.
him coming, to us coming. So I was a little nervous sleeping in his hut, afraid like a deadly snake was gonna come in, but we were lucky. But it was just really fun there because every night, they would make a fire. We would sit out by the fire, like have s'mores or whatnot. Because like we had brought stuff for them to try. Like they had never tried a s'more before. We had brought like, chocolate and marshmallows to give them s'mores.
They liked it?
Yeah, they loved it. We were teaching them like simple games like Duck Duck Goose and like hide and seek and tag, and dude, they were having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
We were teaching them like relay races. These kids are fast.
Are they?
Yeah, fast. And they all run barefoot. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What else? We had brought them T-shirts, just as like a gift or not, just to have more clothes.
But like, just think about growing up and not playing Duck Duck Goose.
Yeah, it's just like a simple game.
I
man.
can't even like fathom. Like I'm sitting here, like, and I've heard the craziest part is I've heard these stories before, but I'm hearing it again, and I'm just like, we suck. Why are we not helping? Like, what in the world? And I know it's not everyone's. You're not wrong for not necessarily, helping directly, right? But to disregard it, I just feel like is not.
Well, I think that's like one of the most awesome things about the Peace Corps. Like they're literally sending these people out and like into these villages, and pretty much like, here, you need to help this village. You need to help this entire village, prosper. Like like my brother's whole mission is to build that village's economy, and he's trying to do that by like teaching them how to farm differently, and like through agriculture he's trying to do that. But
yeah. So what? All right. So we've talked about Africa, but I don't want to move on to our next topic yet, only because I want you to explain what Brian does.
Yeah. So
because I think it's important, because there might be somebody out there listening like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm on a similar boat. I might go into the Peace Corps. And I've told you this before. When I graduate college, I might just do it just because when I hear these stories, it sounds like something I would do. It's like, I don't even know how else to explain it. And it's like, I always, stress the importance of experiences. And I feel like an experience like that is not something you could get back. Once you experience it, it's like once in a lifetime, and you live with that your whole life. And it could kind of help you structure how you, see things and whatnot. But for somebody who might not know what they're doing after college or out of high school, I'm sure you could do it at 18, right? Or it has to be 21.
You have to have a little bit of college first.
Okay, so regardless, somebody who doesn't know exactly what they want to do, what does Brian do?
So
in the Peace Corps,
Brian's whole mission was to go into this little village and teach them how to farm more sustainably and use that to kind of boost their economy, because this one particular village was just notorious for growing just corn, and everybody grows corn there because it's so easy to grow, but corn is worth nothing there. Like, you grow corn, pretty much not make any. If anything, you're losing money maintaining it than the amount of money you would make by selling it or whatnot. So he's going in there trying to encourage them to grow like tomatoes or any other kind of vegetable or whatnot, or potatoes or something, just so they when they go to the markets or whatnot with their food, they can make more money selling it, and they can bring more money home, which you can then use to better have a better agriculture program for like other kind of vegetables or whatnot, or just more money to bring back for your household. Maybe you could buy like certain stuff you wouldn't be able to.
And Brian doesn't make any of this money, correct?
No, Brian, the Peace Corps is volunteer. I mean, you do get like a stipend at the end.
Yeah.
But it's for 3 years he's getting like 9,000, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It's like you don't do that for the money.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. But I'm saying what I was trying to emphasize is like somebody might watch this and be like, oh, this dude is coming from America, going to Africa and making money off of them. But that's not what he's doing.
He's not making any money. He's teaching them how to make money, you know. And I mean, he's been doing a good job. They're very like receptive to him. But it's not like you go and teach them everything. Like he went there and learned. And they taught him a lot too.
Yeah, for sure.
He learned how to speak it in like 11 weeks, and he just learned like the different techniques they have down there, which better helped him to use those techniques against them in a way, just to teach them. Mm-hmm. So that's really pretty much his mission, just to kind of boost their economy by teaching them to farm more sustainably.
Yeah, dude. So that's awesome. And I don't know, there's not really much more to talk about with Africa. I think the one story that you left out was the elephant.
Oh yeah, we almost got attacked by an elephant. We had this safari driver who was kind of like a thrill seeker or whatnot, and he saw this elephant that was acting like really angry or whatnot. He's like, yeah, let's go follow it. So, all right, doesn't sound like a good idea, but whatever. So we follow it, and we're getting like really close to it. And this guy shuts the car off. I was like, John, you sure you want to shut the car off? This elephant's getting pretty mad, bro. And this elephant comes and charges. And the car is like not starting. Mm-hmm. It's taking, because every car over there, like two or three times, it's gonna take to actually start up. So the elephant's maybe like 10 feet away from us before it finally starts, and he just like books it out of there. And that was probably like one of the scariest moments of my life. It was like being charged by an elephant. Like, who would ever think that would happen to them in their life? Like, I got charged by an elephant. It was nuts.
But what is? I'm gonna take another like left turn. What does that say for the animals? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, no, I don't understand why he wanted to get so close to this angry elephant. Like he was throwing a fit, and then he's like, "Oh, let's follow him. Let's piss him off." I was like, "No, this is gonna kill us."
It's not even that he's gonna kill you. It's like he's trying to chill, and you're over here bothering him.
I mean, to be honest, in that moment, I was like, I just don't want to die. But
yeah, no,
I know, I totally see.
No, but looking at it from this perspective, it's like we don't want to be bothered by anyone as humans,
especially when we're angry.
And now we're just gonna go bother a bunch of animals because they're just animals. But whatever, that's besides the point. Yes. All right, so now you went to Africa, you went through that experience. Now you're going to do another huge experience, which is Italy. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons why I wanted you on the podcast was obviously you're one of my best friends, but I wanted to get you on here before you went to Italy so we could kind of talk about what your goals are in Italy, what you're looking forward to, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And then when you come back, we're going to have you on another episode, and we're going to break down the experience while you were there for the 4 months. And we'll see what aligned, what didn't align, what worked, what didn't work. Just because anybody else might want to do the same thing, and I think it's important to have these conversations because someone else can learn from you. Yeah. So why do you want to go, and what are you doing? So go ahead.
So I'm going to study abroad in Italy for 4 months, and you know I'm just going to be taking like basic core classes and whatnot. Like my real objective there is to travel more, because ever since I went to Africa, I just have like this taste in my mouth like for travel. Like I just want to keep traveling and whatnot. So I figured, what better chance would I have than living in Italy for 4 months and being able to travel all of Europe? Because travel within Europe is rather cheap, I think. So that's like
in comparison to traveling from America to Europe.
Yeah, of course. Because honestly, you could hop on a train pretty much anywhere in Europe and just for like 20 euros and end up wherever you want, So that's like my main goal there, is to be able to travel more. But I'm also excited to try like the authentic Italian food and whatnot. Yeah. Just like learn a whole new culture. I'll try and learn a whole new language and whatnot. Just like stuff like that interests me, So that's like my main reason of going. But it's also gonna be a great time. From everybody I've talked to that has traveled abroad, like I'm gonna make a ton of new friends. I'm gonna be going out like almost every night, which is a little dangerous, but it's alright.
Well, you're just going out to experience things. And
Yeah.
what is one thing while you're there that you want to do
One thing.
while being in Italy? Do you know? Or
Well,
just-
this isn't in Italy, but I definitely want to hike the Swiss Alps.
Okay.
Which, I mean, Switzerland borders
So you're gonna
Italy.
You're gonna hike the Swiss Alps without me. Those are good.
Well, I mean, maybe if you visit the time you come, we could go hike the Swiss Alps.
Anyway,
Dude, how awesome would that be?
dude, that would be so
Hiking
so
this
sick.
Swiss Alps. Oh my god. Just like to be able to say that, like, people say, like, oh, yeah, I wish I would, like, I actually, like, that's feasible for me right now. Like, it's in.
Yeah, it's in your palm of your hands. And you're young now, so it's like, you don't have anything else to, like, really worry about. Like, when you're older, it's like, you can't really, you know, if you have a family, and there's things that might restrict you. But right now, there's no restrictions.
Exactly.
So it's like, and
Like-
you're younger, like I said, you're younger, so less wear and tear on your body. So you can
Exactly.
do it and wake up the next day and may not feel it as you would if you're 40 and doing it.
And, like, when you have, like, a real job and whatnot, travel is hard, you
Yeah,
know?
of
So I
course.
want to do as much as I can now.
So the goal in Italy is to travel and experience things.
Yeah.
So when you come back, you're gonna tell us everything you've experienced.
Yeah, but I'm also gonna travel like within Italy. I'm not just gonna go to Italy then like travel everywhere else but Italy. I'm gonna know Italy first and
Yeah.
then go ahead and travel.
That's awesome.
That's the plan. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Drink a lot of wine too.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
dude, I'm so jealous. I mean, I'm jealous, but I'm not jealous because I'm gonna be doing things here. So,
Yeah.
so it's like we're just gonna be in different parts. I'm gonna miss you, but
No, yeah.
not
Look,
the same
I'm
way.
definitely sad about like I'm gonna be missing out on some things here, but then you gotta like weigh your options, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like spend a semester in Europe or you know. So I chose what I thought was
let's
right.
let's kind of tie everything in, right? Because you talked about Italy, what you're looking forward to doing there, and in the beginning we talked about friendships, and that we're probably on the podcast. We're at 41 minutes in, so it's probably coming to the end. So
Yeah.
let's tie it together. How are we gonna hold our friendship together while you're in a different country for 4 months?
I mean, truthfully, for us, honestly, I think it's gonna be easy. Like, I mean, we'll talk as much as we can. I'm hoping you guys can come out and visit, but like, I understand if you can't, because I know it's expensive and whatnot, and it's hard to set up a schedule. But to be honest, I think I'm just gonna come back and like be so excited to like tell you what happened or whatnot that like it's just gonna be like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come back and be like, all right, yeah, come over, let's talk about it, you know. Simple stuff like
I
that.
think we should create a FaceTime schedule.
I mean, I'm down to FaceTime like once a week, you know,
No, but
because I'm gonna have a lot of downtime too, you know.
Yeah.
Where like I'm kind of just like sitting in my dorm, like, damn.
yeah,
What am I gonna do?
no, but I say that to say it's important to kind of emphasize relationships and that they don't just happen just like
Yeah.
that. So we'll do what we have to do to keep our friendship as close as possible, and we're obviously not gonna let it slip because we never do and never have.
But like something like this is like a good test for somebody. you
yeah,
know?
of course,
Like,
of course,
if you really want to keep that relationship, then you're gonna have to stay in touch,
yeah.
which we
So,
will.
Well, we'll be
I'm
sure.
gonna bring that little note you wrote me,
Yeah.
Captain America. That was nice.
I wrote Jason a note. So I basically, this is how our friendship works. I tell him he's hot, and he tells me I look like a sloth. So basically, he's Captain America, I'm Captain
Captain
Sloth.
Sloth.
So,
But he looks a lot more like Captain America than I do. But
no, that's all right.
that's okay.
No, I'm kidding. We, obviously we like love each other, so it's all
Captain
jokes.
Sloth.
But that's my nickname now, Captain Sloth.
Captain
So if you guys
Sloth
ever,
to the
if you,
rescue.
ladies and gentlemen, ever see me, just be like, yo,
he
Captain
goes by
Sloth.
Captain Sloth.
What's up, man? So,
Nothing else.
but yeah, all right. So thanks for stopping by, Jay.
Of
Appreciate
course.
it.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
the guy.
I'm excited to come back and talk about
We'll
it.
see you back in 5 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about your experience. Better enjoy yourself, man.
I will. I plan on it.
Better have.
I'm
some
gonna miss
stories.
you though.
Better have some stories for us. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna miss this office.
Better,
Yes.
better, check my website while you're there and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. But anyway, thanks for everybody for watching, tuning in, listening. Everything can be watched and heard straight from AuntJayLeonardo.com. Make sure you check it out.
Go check it out.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by, Jason. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for
Thank
watching.
you.
And we'll see you next week.
Next week. I won't, but it's okay.